Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 19 of Unpopular Opinion. I'm your host, Mika Gatt, joined alongside my weekly panelist of Ayush and Mr. Kyle Pucci. Today we got a pretty busy show. A lot of sports news has been happening recently, so we've got a lot of stuff to touch up upon. And the first and I think the most important stuff has been the NFL free agency, where a specific team that plays and works over in Foxborough decided to spend more money in free agency than I think they did the past 10 years. Those, of course, being the New England Patriots. So I'm curious, what do you guys think of those moves that they made, signing anybody but a quarterback to come to New England? Let's start with Mr. Pucci.
Well, I did not see that coming. All the moves that they made, I'm pretty sure I was on record here saying that Bill was not going to do anything. And the lying from a lot of people has been pretty off the boards for the past week. So, I can't say I'm not happy. They made a ton of moves. They finally made a lot of, signings that needed to be made. I was already satisfied with the Jonnu Smith signing, but then when they also got Hunter Henry, which is just icing on the cake, I'm not saying they're Gronk and Hernandez, but, you could kind of go back to, the idea of, what you were doing with them. And just I'm a big fan of the Matthew Judon signing, as long as he's not eating Taco Bell constantly. He what he said. I think, what was the quote, Mika? You definitely know the quote. It was
I might have heard it. I just don't remember it right now.
He was celebrating Taco Bell before games or something.
In Baltimore?
He won't really last long here if that's what he's doing. So hopefully he doesn't do that.
I think he's going to smarten up. Also,
they completely revamped the run defense. I'm really happy Van Noy's back. They finally got the two fatties in the middle of the D line. So it's about time
it's a new look Patriots team.
I pray Lawrence Guy comes back. I pray he comes back. But I'm a big fan of the two fat guys that they brought in for that D line. I'm done.
That's good to hear. Yush, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Kyle. The moves are really good. I'm kind of sad we signed two tight ends because that means we're not going to get Kyle Pitts in the draft. And, I feel...
Hey, well, at least have two proven tight ends.
Exactly.
Our defense is going to be it might be the 2019 level with the way the signings. The two players we got from Miami and one healthy are really good players. Van Noy's back. Hightower will be back. We lost Chung, but that's fine.
I believe Tugger will keep developing and he can be good.
Our O-line will be fine too. We got Brown. It doesn't really matter that we lost Tooney. Our receivers, I think we overpaid Aguilar. $11 million a year is a lot, but he's better than anything we had.
Electric just had money, didn't know what to do with it. That's what happened. So he spent it.
And it's not if you just have money lying around, I guess it's no use. You might as well spend it.
Well, then let me ask a follow-up question. What do you think the record's going to be of the Celtics next year? Let's go with Ayush. Ayush, what do you think? Not the Celtics, obviously, not the Celtics. Talking about the Patriots. The Patriots record next year.
I think
forget there's 17 games next year in the schedule.
17 games.
And 7-game playoff or 17 playoffs still.
7, yeah.
17. I think we'll go to 11-6.
Okay. Do you think first in the AFC East?
Oh yeah, we're better than Buffalo now.
I don't know. They have the MVP up there.
If we can draft Trey Lance in the...
You really don't think Mitch Trubisky's going to win MVP next year?
Shut up. I thought you meant Allen. You got that one.
Trey Lance is available late in the first round. We should trade Jackson and Michelle and a third-round pick to trade up and get him. Trey Lance with a decent receiving group, and he can actually throw the ball in Cam. We'll actually have a quarterback. We should be nasty next year if we get a good quarterback.
I just think you should put some more pressure on Cam Newton, because if he just sits there and pretends that it's his job and nobody's coming for it, then that's not really good for the Patriots. Because just because you have weapons and you have a guy that's handicapped at quarterback, I don't think you're going to get very far. Pooch, what do you think? What do you think for the record for the
I
why do I keep doing this?
Same thing, 11-6. Because I mean, to be honest, like with all the moves they did make with Jalen Mills, like we don't even have to get started. We know all the moves that they made, but like now, what should they should be like 13-4 and win the division, in my opinion. But Newton is going to hold them back, so they're going to go 11-6. Newton's just not. You guys know how I feel about him, and even with receivers, I still think he's going to suck and he's going to hurt them. Like that's just what I believe.
This team's a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender.
I don't know. I still think they're not the best team in their division.
I mean, just because of Cam Newton, honestly. If we just get a quarterback, I mean, there's.
I want to see the Patriots beat Buffalo.
I don't think Buffalo is going to be as good next year. Just
real. I think Josh Allen's only going to get better.
Dude,
I mean,
they get worse.
Tons of things went right for them last year. Like they got literally. I don't know if they had a single COVID case to an actual important player last year. Like they.
I mean, next year I don't think COVID's going to be as bad.
Last year, like I just think they're going to get. Some bad luck this year.
Well, Kyle, do you know who they got in free agency?
Who?
Some guy named Emmanuel Sanders.
I don't think he's going to help that much.
Okay, Mika. Okay, I'm just going to recall to last year. Do you remember constantly when we used to argue about the Bucks and Saints? It was the better team. Oh yeah, we know it was right. But anyway. Do you remember who you told me was going to be the leading factor? You were like, they got Emmanuel Sanders. He literally did squat last year. He didn't do anything for that. I literally couldn't even notice him in his Saints.
I think I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to make excuses for him. I just think it's the Saints system. They're not a type of system that's gonna throw to like multiple receivers.
Dude, Michael Thomas was gone for so many games. Like he was literally invisible half the time he was there. Like he just.
Well, yeah, because Drew Brees wasn't playing that well last year. There's a reason he retired.
Also, I think Sanders is on the down of his career rather than the up.
I mean, he's 1 year removed from making the Super Bowl with the Niners, so I don't know.
He was.
Yeah, and Garoppolo also threw the ball like 6 total times in the playoffs that year. So
well, hey, they made it to the Super Bowl, so like not the NFC.
Sanders was the reason.
No, I'm just saying he was their number 1 receiver.
You could
he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Into that system.
Who was it? Oh, yeah, in their system, yeah, okay, that's true because they don't really have a number 1 receiver. They don't use a number 1 receiver.
I mean,
they have like 4 number 1 running backs. That's what they do there. Like,
well, it's Kyle Shanahan's system. I'm surprised. I'm starting to think that the reason the Falcons lost the Super Bowl was not Kyle Shanahan. It was Dan Quinn. Starting to think.
So do I. But yeah, because you obviously should have just overruled what was going on. And I mean, like back to what the Pats. We were talking about the Pats. Like, I just think Newton is going to hold them back. But like. I mean, even with a young quarterback, it's just a lot to ask for. But then if you throw him into Belichick's system, like, I mean, maybe you got something going there. Like, if we get an actual because I've been reading tons of reports from, like, actually, like, verified people that, like, the Pats are very far away from being done at quarterback. So, like, if Newton is not the starter, if we actually have a proven quarterback, and then we're going to be, like, I think contenders again.
Yeah, I've seen those tweets, but I highly doubt we're going to take one in the first round of the draft. So, I mean, I don't know what the plan is. Maybe Watson becomes.
Drafted Trey Lance. I feel way better about our chances. But like,
he's available late in the first round. We should trade up and get him. I mean, teams are definitely going to overrate J.C. Jackson. He'll be worth a lot more in the trade market.
This is also because I think teams around the AFC are not going to be as good next year. I don't think Kansas City is as good as they were last year now.
Their line is going to be a problem. Tooney's not going to solve any of their issues.
Yeah, they wanted to get what's his face from San Francisco.
Trent Brown,
but they didn't get him.
They're not going to get him. And
no, I mean, I know they didn't get him. He re-signed with the Niners, but I meant that they wanted him.
I mean, like considering the AFC South, the Colts are literally the only team in that division. Technically, or Titans too, but like. I don't know. Since Derrick Henry won't be rushing for 2,000 yards next year, then they're not going to be that good. They lost a ton of people. Like, I think Pittsburgh is going to be garbage next year.
I think you're underestimating the Cleveland Browns. I really do.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, they're getting better.
Don't forget, they did what they did in the playoffs without Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, but they're better without OBJ, though. That's like.
OBJ is still one of the best receivers in the game.
Dude, record history says Odell hurts your team. Like, that's a fact. It's
Also,
true.
Baker Mayfield throwing the ball is not that reliable.
Dude, Baker's way better when he's spreading the ball out to receivers. Like,
I mean,
Odell,
Kyle's part of the Baker fan club too. Kyle's a big part of the Baker fan club.
like Baker, but like he's only good when he's spreading out the ball to receivers. Like, he's not good when he's constantly trying to force the ball to OBJ. Like, if I'm trading him for draft picks.
I just think like a full healthy season of Myles Garrett, and I mean that two-headed running back monster down there with Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and that's a really dangerous team. Like you'd be surprised the amount of damage that they completely destroyed the Steelers without their head coach and like a couple of players from coach.
Well, the thing is though, like nobody had any the thing is like, well, since you're talking about the Bills and the Browns, like you had teams with really not a lot of expectations, and like now the teams are actually going to be paying attention to them. Like they may be a little worse. That is a big factor when it comes to like teams who don't really have too much motivation against you. Like now the Bills, the Browns have circles on their back. So like
possibly. All right. Well, let's move on to a separate topic because we're now talking about other teams. Just let's talk about the rest of NFL free agency, the biggest moves that happened. I mean, there's been a lot of moves that happened. You guys, what do you guys think has been like the most impactful move by a specific team? You should go ahead.
There's a lot of stuff going down in Tampa. I mean, the fact that they were able to re-sign Godwin, Levante David, Gronk, get Brady to restructure his deal and bring just about everyone back except for Fournette and I think Antonio Brown. I mean, it's insane the fact that they were able to do that and like get everyone to buy into their system. I mean, there's no way they should be able to have that many people those people on their roster. I mean, whatever Brady did down there, it obviously worked. He's changed the mindset of that whole organization. I think them and the Patriots right now are the winners of free agency.
Kyle, what do you think?
I agree with Ayush. I mean, I was literally going to say that, but I do have another one in the back of my head. Like the fact that like I thought the Bucs would keep some of their guys, but I also thought some would walk and chase the money. But like it looks like that. I mean, Brady restructured his deal. I think Mike Evans was talking about restructuring his deal too. Like the fact is like they were able to get everybody to buy in. Like Ayush said, you guys know how I feel about Brady and what he does, but like he just has changed the whole. Also, the Patriot, like what people used to call the Patriot culture about people taking pay cuts and staying, that's actually the Tom Brady culture. That is not the Patriot culture.
Well, I mean, I disagree. A lot of other teams are doing it. I know for a fact the Packers are doing that. They're trying to restructure Aaron Rodgers' contract. The Saints did that for sure. There's a lot of teams that are doing that.
I'm also very confused with this whole cap space thing. I mean,
yeah,
seems like no team is really affected by it.
yes.
Like staying for like below 100 million, they're fine. Chiefs signed a guy to a $500 million contract, they're fine.
I don't know how they signed Tooney for $80 million. I really don't know how they did that.
I think it might be just signing bonuses
behind the scenes, like,
yeah.
but since I thought that was the biggest factor of free agency because like the fact they were able to keep the whole team together, like they're gonna be a huge issue again next year, and like, but I'm gonna go a combination of Fitzpatrick and Curtis Samuel to the Washington football team because, dude, I mean, you put Fitzpatrick with McLaurin, Samuel, Gibson, a pretty good offensive line. They're a defense first team. They have something cooking up there in Washington. They will easily
get careless with the ball sometimes.
They will easily win the division next year, no question. Dallas will be trash, and the Eagles will be just god awful.
Giants have a chance. I mean, they got Kenny Golladay, they got John Ross, Saquon's coming back.
As their quarterback, so
Danny Dimes has more turnovers than touchdowns.
I mean, it's Danny Penny. Okay. It's not Danny Dimes. It's not good. He's so bad. Like Fitzpatrick. Miami was really good under Fitzpatrick. So like,
yeah, they should have kept Fitzpatrick. I mean, they played better with him.
I mean,
I just think Tua's going to get better.
But I really believe Washington has something going with those two moves.
Maybe. Well, I haven't made a bold prediction in quite a while the show.
Actually, I just wanted to throw out one more thing. I wanted Ryan Fitzpatrick on the Patriots. I literally said on this podcast last week, show me your Fitz. I wanted Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I know. Well, first, before I go on, what I want to say, I want to say that the Bears easily were the worst team in free agency. Easily. Easily, it was the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
All right, so I haven't made a bold prediction in a while because we've been talking a lot about NBA, but I have a very, very bold prediction in the NFL. I think the representative of the NFC that will be in the Super Bowl was who I believe didn't win free agency, but did very well in free agency to build on to a very good team. I think that the NFC, I'm not saying I don't know who's going to be in the AFC in the Super Bowl, but I think the NFC representative in the Super Bowl is going to be the Arizona Cardinals.
Come on.
Okay.
Hear me out. I think JJ Watt has something left in the tank. JJ Watt's going onto a defense. I mean, first of all, that's an offensive team. You will see what AJ Green. People keep saying he's washed, he's trash. AJ Green is going to be playing for. He's not the attention of the other cornerbacks. That's DeAndre Hopkins, and then it's Larry Fitzgerald, who's he's old, but he's
coming back.
Yeah, Larry's coming back.
5 years ago would have went undefeated.
Who?
If you put Fitzgerald, AJ Green, and Watt all in their primes together, that team goes undefeated.
Okay, I'm saying that's what I'm saying.
No, that's unrelated, but keep going.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that I definitely think Kyler Murray can take a step forward because now he doesn't just have the weapons; he has a lot of weapons around him.
He does. I agree with that.
You could see JJ Watt just kind of like he was putting all of his heart out into when he was playing on the Texans, but he has stuff left in the tank. He's going to be a new person over in Arizona. I guarantee it.
I mean, the one thing they're missing is a run game. I mean,
yeah. I mean, here's the thing. They lost Kenyon Drake, but I mean, they still have Carson Edwards.
Drake wasn't that good last year.
Yeah, Carson Edwards actually did pretty good. He's like a James White type of running back. He was doing pretty good. But
one team I think they lost free agency is definitely the Raiders, in my opinion. I mean, I get the
No, but I'm just saying the reason I think they win the Super Bowl is because if they can get through their division, they can beat the Seahawks, they can beat the Niners, and they can beat the Rams. Then I mean. Outside of Tampa Bay and Green Bay, there's no team that's going to beat them. There's no team that's going to beat them if they can beat the other teams in the NFC West.
They're very inexperienced, though. I mean,
okay, but that's true. But look at Tampa Bay. Outside of Brady, they had absolutely no experience, and they made the Super Bowl.
But that's also because they had Brady. Like he changed what happened down there. Like,
well, that's true, but
I believe the Cardinals will be in the playoffs. Maybe
that's 100%.
I think they could probably get to the divisional rounds, depending on what happens. Seahawks won't make the playoffs next year. I still have that belief.
It's not really belief that they lost half of their team.
Yeah, but so many people are like, oh, they have Russell Wilson, so that means they're going to make. No, it doesn't. It's not what they like. If that were the case, then Rodgers and the Packers wouldn't have missed the playoffs 3 years ago because you have a quarterback when your team blows, and that's what the Seahawks team is. Also, I have a loser at free agency if you guys are interested.
Let's hear
it. Loser in free agency is the Bengals. I'm sorry.
They got Trey Hendrickson.
Dude, Trey Hendrickson has had that was literally the first good year of his career.
Exactly. So he's coming off of
one really good year. They gave him way too much money, and they didn't sign anybody on the offensive line. Like, do they want Joe Burrow to be put in the infirmary for the rest of his career? Like, I mean, like, how did they not sign Joe Tooney or go for David Andrews or at least be in the race for Trent Brown? Like, it's just, I don't know what they're doing with their money. They should have gotten an O-lineman.
If the Bengals don't draft Penei Sewell with their pick, I don't know, that their GM needs to be fired. Like,
their GM literally did nothing. Like, seriously, if I'm Burrow and the coach, I'm pissed right now because
Zach Taylor, let's go.
Literally, what they needed was O-line help, and the GM just did not get it. He literally got no one in free agency. Like, I was honestly shocked how not more teams gave Joe Tooney that much money. Like, it.
I mean, the Chiefs needed an offensive line. There's no sugarcoating that.
Yeah, but the Bengals need one more than anybody. They don't have a freaking O-line. Like, Burrow is going to be he's literally the incoming Andrew Luck if they don't get an O-line.
Well, look at the Colts offensive line now. Andrew Luck left at the perfect time.
Yeah, he literally left when they got a good O-line, which was hilarious.
Andrew Luck was still on that team. Oh my god!
If Andrew Luck was on that team right now, playing in his peak,
I believe they'd have a ring right now. To be honest with you,
100%.
If Luck was on that team, I believe they would have a ring.
I mean, the year
Rivers is trash. Stop making children.
I mean, I was about to say something about Super Bowl 53 that if Andrew Luck was playing behind that O line, they might have pushed the Patriots out and won the Super Bowl instead of the Patriots. But you never know.
Not that year.
Yeah.
That's beyond the
Not
point.
that year. They were on the rise, but then the year after, I thought they could have been really legit.
I don't think they could have beaten Kansas City that year. Kansas City was playing out
I
of
think
their
they would have
mind.
had a shot.
Maybe.
Would
All
they?
right. Well,
Defense was better than KC's, and I don't know.
same. Well, we'll see. The point is, let's move on to some basketball. Let's go over one quick little basketball topic because today is Monday, and in 3 short days is the NBA deadline, which we have been preaching for months now about our favorite little Boston Celtics to do something. And when I say something, I mean anything during this trade deadline. And have we done anything, boys?
No.
Nope. So what are we thinking about the Celtics right now? I mean, they beat the Magic, right? A couple of
We're
days
also
ago.
losing to the Grizzlies right now, so
They are.
we're losing to the Grizzlies. So
Yeah. So what do you guys think of the Celtics? Kyle, start off.
Well, what do you mean by what do you think?
What do you think the Celtics are looking at? If they do you think they're going to make a free agent splash on Thursday? And if not, are they screwed?
I mean, they're already screwed either way. I mean, that's just how I believe. I mean, I believe it's going to take way more than one trade to fit. I mean, first of all, no one is going to beat Brooklyn. I think the only team in the East who has a shot to beat them is maybe the Bucks and Sixers going to give them a fight, but the Celtics just don't have any chance. I don't even want them to make a move at this point. I want them to literally tank it and call it a year because you know what? They're not going anywhere this year. They're 21-21. Be the 8th seed in the playoffs, just get waxed, go into the offseason because we're not gonna do anything. I'm sick of all these dumb rumors too, because all the Celtics say is that they're interested in everybody. They just never freaking do literally anything. All these dumbass scenarios when they say, we need well, they should get Jeremy Grant. They're interested in Vucevic. They're interested in Harrell. They're interested in literally everybody, and nothing ever happens. It's just I'm not even getting my hopes up. I don't know how you could look at this team right now and really not say to yourself, this team is just not good enough. Seriously, if people think this team is still a contender and has a chance, you're delusional, you're an idiot, and you're not to be taken seriously because they're not doing anything. This team is not a contender. They're not good enough.
Good answer right there. Ayush, what do you think?
I think Ainge should be on the hot seat, or he should have been fired by now.
Should be on the hot seat. That's the
So do
nicest
I.
thing.
So I'm
that's
with
the
you
He should
on
have
that.
been fired by now. I mean, Milwaukee just traded a late first round pick for PJ Tucker. I mean,
Why can't we use someone like that?
we could have used PJ Tucker off the bench. I mean, if we're gonna play Grant Williams, might as well give PJ Tucker.
Why can't you get a 3-and-D guy like PJ Tucker?
I mean, try to get somebody off of a bad team like Karl Anthony Towns and the Timberwolves. They are garbage. So
Robert Covington would be another
Costs
guy
so
to
much,
target.
though.
Covington should be a guy we should target. He's a good 3-and-D player. He shouldn't cost that much. Drummond has been on the trade block for 2 months now.
Oh yeah, him and how about LaMarcus Aldridge? He's been released from his team, not just traded. LaMarcus Aldridge, I know he's old, but he's been released, and we can't even pick him up. He's better than whatever we have.
I agree with that. I'm with you.
There's been countless opportunities for Ainge to make a move, and he's done absolutely nothing.
I mean,
Yeah.
talk about over the years how many opportunities he's had to make good moves. It's just so frustrating. This team has been not this year, but in the past, this team has always been one player away for so many years of making a finals run, and Ainge just doesn't do it. He just hoards his dumb draft picks at the end of the round and just drafts fatties who play in the freaking who play for the right. He just has to hog up the whole bench for the G League, and just this team is so many times been one player away from making the finals, and he just doesn't. He never makes a move, and I just don't get it. Every other contender is trying to do something to get better, and he never does, and that's why they always come up short.
Kyle, let me ask you: if the Celtics never made that Brooklyn Nets trade, would they shipped off KG and Paul Pierce, and those picks would turn out to be Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, where would the Celtics be right now?
Dude, that was 100 years ago. That's not even relevant at this point.
No, I'm just you're talking about him and his picks. I was just going back to his Danny Ainge's.
5 years ago,
Well, those are not crappy picks. What I'm talking about is when Ainge hogs his 26th overall first round picks and just doesn't.
No, I'm just saying, if we never had those picks, we would have gotten 2 more players from deep in that first round, and our starting lineup right now would probably have to consist of Romeo Langford and
okay, but I don't know what the point is here. Like, I wasn't debating that. I'm saying, like, why can't we just trade the late first round picks? Like, do you remember what Cleveland gave up for Drummond? They gave up John Henson, the second round pick. Like why can't we trade off one of our crap bags in a first round pick for someone better? Like, I don't get why he's so hesitant to make an upgrade at a position. Even in free agency too, he does nothing. I was literally just watching the Bucks with my brother. They signed Bobby Portis for like $10 million, who makes so much impact off the bench, who could play defense and shoot threes. Like, I don't get why the Celtics can't go for someone like that.
I mean, they're a team that just is never
I
active
don't know
in the
how
free
much
agent
longer
market.
Stevens' affair with Daniel Tice is going to keep going on. Like,
That's true. That's a good one.
I don't know how much longer it's going to keep going on. Like, I'm sorry, like, Tice he's better than what people give him credit for, but you're not winning, you're not going or contending when your guy is Daniel Tice. Like, guys like Grant Williams are not NBA players. The guy is not a freaking basketball player. He's like, and they play on this team because it's perhaps little league rotations on the Celtics. Like, it's another reason why they're 21-21 and staring at a failure of a season.
Yeah. Well, Aish, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, like 5 years ago, I think we had like 20 picks over like the next 5 years. That turned into like Brown, Tatum, and then that's it.
Like,
I mean,
the rest of the guys,
Sean Yabusele, we just kept picking guys in like the 16 and 20 range. Didn't trade those picks, didn't do anything with them. They just kept stashing picks in Europe. Over and over, he made the same exact mistake. I mean, he hasn't hit on anything except like maybe Isaiah Thomas since the Garnett Pierce trade. I mean, other than that, he's in nothing really.
still Isaiah Thomas was literally a freaking fall out of heaven. Like,
That's probably more Brad Stevens and Danny Ainge.
it was Brad Stevens and Danny Ainge. Like Isaiah was traded so many times for a reason, and then Stevens put him into the MVP discussion. Like, it's just the only late draft picks that like Ainge is actually on. And like, they're not like smart picks either. These literally just throwing crap against the fan and seeing if it's gonna work. Like,
I mean, Pritchard we didn't need, but I mean, it worked, I guess. Like, we drafted
What about Neesmith?
this year for no reason.
Yeah, if we drafted Cole Anthony instead of Neesmith, and then we got somebody else.
Aaron Neesmith, another example. We picked a random guy with like the 15th pick. He doesn't play for us. Romeo Langford last, another guy.
Cares about that 15th pick, to be honest with you. I mean, Stevens probably wouldn't even play Cole Anthony, even if he were here.
If you're gonna take people and not play them, just trade the pick and try to get someone else.
Now I agree with Ayush on what he was saying about getting Cole Anthony. It's like, if you're gonna draft a guy in the middle of the round and just not play him, and then you're gonna draft a second round point guard, like, why can't you just and play the second round point? Like, why can't you just draft Cole Anthony and play him? I don't understand that at all. Like, it's just this team is just not. I don't even want them to make a trade, because we're just gonna give up I mean, like, if you trade the first round picks, have at it. I don't care about the first round picks. It's the freaking NBA. It's not the NFL. Like, if you want to trade those picks for a better player, like, fine, go ahead. But like, we're still not going anywhere. I still want Marcus Smart to be traded. Hot take. But
Marcus Smart, not Kemba. You want Smart gone.
I want Smart to be traded. It's so bad. It's not even funny, Mika. He's like, ugh.
In the NBA, if you're not a top 5 pick, your pick really doesn't matter that much.
It really doesn't. I mean, like, those picks are just lucky. It's not because they sound so, like, you can't tell me that guys like Donovan Mitchell, Jokic, Giannis, Kawhi were drafted because teams saw the potential. Like, no, they didn't. They saw them because they were just there. Like, and just.
Yeah, or they had like giant red flags when they were being drafted. Like Michael Porter Jr. had giant red flags, and he was like
Giannis is probably the biggest project player of all time. Kawhi literally could not shoot a basketball. He could only play defense. Jokic is just a fat guy drinking plum juice all the time. Like, and then like Donovan Mitchell, fine, he was good, but he wasn't 28 points per game like Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, yeah. Well, even think about like even a couple years ago, even though it's a top 5 pick, but think about the Trae Young versus Luka Doncic trade. First of all, that was not even like the first and second pick, which I guarantee you that the Suns and teams up I think the Kings picked Michael Bagley in front of them too, Marvin Bagley. Those teams are probably like, I remember how, because Luka was also another risk player. He's from Europe. He was playing in Serbia. Nobody knew anything. And then I remember Trae Young was like some guy that was people didn't have him going in the top 10. And I mean, look how he panned out.
I don't think the Suns are too mad about DeAndre Ayton, though. I mean,
okay, what about Marvin Bagley on the Kings when they could have had Luka Doncic?
Yeah, I've known for so many years it was such a stupid pick. Marvin Bagley was just not that good. Like,
he was just an athletic 7-footer who couldn't do anything on the court.
That's what the NBA is. If you're athletic, you're going to get drafted.
I mean, you can't really blame the Hawks for the Luka thing, though, because I don't really think anybody saw this coming. Like, sure, he was good for a long time in the Europe League, but, like, nobody saw what he was – like, nobody saw this coming from him.
Trae Young also turned out pretty well, so I don't think they're also that mad about it.
Well, Young was really good in college, though. Like, he was – I mean, he turned over the ball out, but he also made, like, every 3 shot. He was really good. Like,
exactly, because he was proven. That's what I'm saying. Luka was just another risk player. That's how you make – like, you have a good team based – in any sport, really. You're telling me the greatest football player of all time doesn't become the greatest football player of all time if the Patriots don't draft him in the 7th round, take a risk and draft the quarterback.
I don't think it's much of a risk drafting a quarterback in the 6th round.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying it's more that, like, what about when the Chiefs drafted Mahomes to completely replace Alex Smith? They did that in the 11th pick. Alex Smith immediately knew that his time was up. That was a risk.
It was definitely a risk to take him over Watson. I will say that's a risk.
Yeah. What about the Packers drafting Jordan Love last year? The hell was that for?
I mean, it's a risk, but
I thought that was just to piss off Aaron Rodgers, to be honest with you.
Why would you waste a 1st-round pick to piss off Aaron Rodgers? Don't pay him or something.
Rodgers wasn't happy with it. They asked him about the pick. He's like, yeah, I wasn't really too happy with them picking a quarterback. I mean, you can't tell me it didn't work.
Like, okay, yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Maybe they just lit a fire under his ass. Maybe that's why he threw 50 touchdowns this year. It could be the reason.
48, yeah. 48.
Never know.
Should have been 50.
Yeah.
50.
Yeah, I ain't just the Celtics are not going anywhere. Let's check the score currently. They were down by 2. They're probably down by 20.
Yeah.
Tatum's not playing, but we should still be beating the Grizzlies.
All right. Well, the point is that's a wrap for episode 19 of Unpopular Opinion. As always, please send over an email to DSCTV. Wait, right? DSCTV.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's DSCTV.
No, but what's the email?
I don't
know. Info. Oh, God. It's info@dsctv.com. Oh, my God. That was bad. That was really bad. I just forgot an email. See, this is why you don't film a show at 10:30 at night, Kyle.
Just wanted to say this wasn't my idea. Okay.
I mean,
you said, Kyle, you down for a show? And I said, yeah, whatever. I wasn't down for this. It was fun, though. It was fun.
It was fun. It was a good show. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back here raging about the Celtics free agent deadline next week. I guarantee you that.
Yes,
and until we're back here completely mad and going to Danny Ainge's house, we'll see you back here next week. Thank you, everybody.